Hello everyone, welcome to Off the Clock podcast, where we share some experiences, lifestyles, and many more. I'm Hawa Mukaila as your host for today. So I brought exclusively to you an exciting episode where we'll be talking about traveling around the globe with our special guest. So let's get started. Today on the show, I feel extremely over the moon to have Rosie and Bella. They are going to share their story. What can I say? It's much more to take a sneak peek in their experience of traveling. Hi Bella and Rosie, welcome to Off the Clock podcast. Special thanks to both of you for joining us today.
Hi, hey, it's me Bella here. Who else could it be, right? Shout out and big thanks to Hawa and team for having me today. I am thrilled to be in this podcast and even got an interview with one of the most famous solo travelers, Rosie. I am so overwhelmed by today's topic. I can't even wait.
Hey everyone, what's up? Rosie here, aka Rosie the Backpacker. Thank you for having me today. I'm so excited to have a good chat with the two of you.
So without wasting any time, let's jump to the first question. Don't feel pressure, okay? This is likely a basic question to ask. As a traveler, where have you been so far? And how many countries have you visited? Let's talk about where you went and what you did. Let's start with you first, Bella.
Interesting question, Hawa.
So far, I have traveled to 16 Asian countries, such as the Philippines, Thailand in Southeast Asia. Despite in the central of Asia, I've been to Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and all the 7 countries that end with stans. The last time I traveled, I went
Wow.
for something bizarre. I traveled to South Central Europe, Italy. I went to all the top attractions in Rome that were most visited by tourists. A list of top 10 attractions in Rome can only start with the Colosseum, the most visited attraction in Rome. It was built in the century Anno Domini. The Colosseum is the largest ancient amphitheater that ever built by humans and still stands in the center of modern Rome. Based on my experience, my opinion about what makes the Colosseum worth visiting, it is breathtaking inside and out. You will take wonderful photos here. It even has a fascinating history that spans from the ancient Roman Empire to the Middle Ages and in the modern era. It is a great place to learn facts about ancient Rome in a fun and entertaining way. Hence, don't forget about the Trevi Fountains. Is one of the most famous and recognizable landmarks in Rome. A tall, monumental fountain with elaborate decorations. The Trevi Fountain is one of the best examples of Baroque sculptures in Rome. If you get to the Trevi Fountain, make sure you do the touristy thing and throw a coin in the fountain. The legend says you will also do a charitable act as the coins get collected and send it to the locals by contributing soups, kitchens, and shelters for the poor.
Aha, this is so overwhelming. How about you, Rosie? I've heard that you visited so many countries at this young age of yours.
Broadly said, I have visited most of Asia's countries. So, if I'm not mistaken, There were approximately 25 countries, I guess. Wow, hearing this from myself feels like that's not real. I have been thinking about visiting Australia since I'm pretty sure that was a good idea. All the countries that I have visited gave their own memories that mean a lot to me. But if I had to choose one country that I think the most memorable for me would be Japan. Japan is a beautiful country that is rich with nature. If we talk about Japan, you should not miss the most recognizable Japan landmark, Mount Fuji. Fujisan is the tallest mountain in Japan and is a sacred place to the Japanese people. It has been an object of worship since ancient times and has had a large influence on the way that Japanese people view nature. Long ago, when Fujisan was a place of frequent volcanic activity, would look up at its peak from the foothills and worship it from afar.
Wow, sounds great about Mount Fuji. I 100% agree with you. Mount Fuji is indeed a spectacular place to visit. I remember Mount Fuji is surrounded by five stunning lakes which sit around 1,000 feet above sea level and offer spectacular views of the mountain. The lakes area has become a popular spot among tourists thanks to their unrivaled setting. Due to geothermal activity in the area, there are hot springs to bath in, perfect for easing those aches and pains after a long day climbing. Okay, so move to another question. How do you guys choose where to go? Are you inspired by other people's travel story, or photos, or advertising?
For me, I choose to visit Japan since Japan is a very famous country with its amazing and unique culture, stunning natural and urban environments. One thing about Japan that is really interesting to talk about is their culture. In Japan, most people bow to each other to show manners. It is one of the key differences in Japanese etiquette. They do not shake hands like we Malaysian people used to do. Instead, they bow. When bowing, we do not bow from the neck like how the British people bow to the Queen, but we must bow by hanging at our hips. And the deeper we bow, the more respect we are trying to show to the people.
How about you, Bella?
For me, I chose Italy as the first European country to visit because I was inspired by the movie title From Scratch. Starting from that movie, I really adore Italian guys. I heard men in Italy are incredibly romantic. By the way, back to Rosie. That's amazing, but it's quite different for Italians. I was shocked when I was there. Italians here are straightforward, yet welcoming and formal. When they talk to people they don't know or to someone who is older, they address them with the formal form, which is lei. When it comes to greeting new people, so Italians, they shake hands and exchange 3 kisses on the cheeks. As to greeting friends and relatives, the tradition dictates that you must exchange a hug and 2 kisses on the cheeks. Despite this, body language is crucial in Italy. Make sure just to keep smile when you greet a local, or not they will think that you don't like them. If you don't know how to behave or what to say, just copy the way Italians act towards you.
Wow, I would like to try to communicate with Italian guys. Okay, so do you like to try local foods when you go somewhere? Have you ever had something really delicious? This is what we're waiting for.
Yes, of course. Local food is a must. Foods can be a signature for the country that makes us remember how beautiful the country is. I have high expectation for Japanese foods because Japanese foods are really famous even in Malaysia itself. So when I arrived, the first thing that came across my mind was that I should hurry and find a good place to eat. There were so many local foods that I ended up loving it so much. I think it's because Japanese foods fit my taste. Japanese foods such as sushi and onigiri were familiar in Malaysia. We Malaysian people are used to this kind of food, but Japan also has many local foods that are super good and tasty. So I want to point out my old favorite Japanese food, which is sukiyaki. Sukiyaki is a Japanese dish in which meat and vegetables are stewed in an iron pot. The sauce, known as warishita, is made from soy sauce and sugar. There is a lot of variation in the ingredients and a way of eating the dish depending on the region, with some areas mixing beaten egg into the sauce to create a milder flavor. This dish has become my instant favorite until now because it's so delicious. If you guys are looking to enjoy a lot of great beef, you should try sukiyaki.
Wow, that makes my mouth watery already. Back to Rich Bayanti, I do agree with you that Japan has many underrated local foods that aren't famous like sushi and those. Personally, Italian foods are also delicious as a heavy taster. I would recommend the lasagna alla bolognese, the traditional recipe that consists of green lasagna sheets made with spinach sandwiched between the layers of bolognese sauce, which is bechamel sauce, butter, and parmesan. The lasagna is then baked in the oven and served steaming hot. Fun fact, lasagna alla bolognese is just a tourist name that given to the dish. In Italy, it is simply called lasagna al forno, meaning oven baked lasagna. Whatever you call it, to this day, it is still one of the most beloved dish to eat among tourists and locals.
Wow, sounds delicious. Right, things can go wrong when you travel. Have you had any bad travel experiences?
For me, I do not really remember any very bad experience in my traveling journey. But of course, there are some bad memories, but thank God it is not that bad, so I can handle it myself. So when I went to Japan last year, I lost my money. It was purely because of my clumsiness. This experience gave me a lesson to always take a good care of my things. I learned it the hard way and it always makes me more careful in the future.
Unfortunately, that incident happened to me as well when I was in the airport. The airport was too crowded. Maybe I dropped it when I took out my passport. Somehow, it doesn't end there. I even lost my luggage. I spent ages waiting at the carousel area while everyone else collected their bags already, and there was nothing left on the belt. So I had to report to the staff that I'd lost my luggage. It turned out that my luggage was taken by other passengers on my same flight.
Oh. All right. Second last question. What's more important to you when you travel? Comfort and relaxation or stimulating new experiences?
Personally, I look forward to experiencing and relaxing. My motto of life is live your life to the fullest. I get new experiences that are beneficial for improving my brain function and boosting my mental health. Travel has been linked to stress reduction and can alleviate the symptoms of anxiety and depression. Whenever I went to other country or escaping for a long weekend in the nearby town, traveling can have a strong impact on my mental health. So I prefer that travel is important for me. How about you, Rosie?
I think it is up to the mood. If I want to go self healing and have fun, I choose to go to a place that brings me comfort and relaxation. It is important to take care of our mood and our purpose before traveling.
Yes, I agree with that. All right. Last question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of traveling alone? Do you like to talk to the local people when you travel? Why or why not?
Great questions. There are so many advantages of traveling alone that it is relatively easy to make a case for traveling alone. Traveling alone offers more opportunities to meet people and make new friends. There are two reasons why traveling alone make it easier to make new friends. Traveling alone forces you to meet new people. When traveling with a partner or you have families, you will rely on each other for help and conversation. Thus, you will talk to fewer new people. However, when traveling alone, you have forced to engage the people around you for help and conversation. In addition, a huge advantage of traveling alone is that it helps you to understand yourself better. Traveling alone offers more opportunities for self discovery because it facilitates psychological disconnection from home. And travel partners are usually people from your personal or professional environments. Having people from home with you on occasion makes it more difficult to disconnect from home and focus on your experiences. Therefore, for the disadvantages, one experience that many solo travelers have is loneliness. It can get lonely sometimes when you travel alone because you are by yourself, and also it is unsafe for female travel alone in other countries.
I do agree with Bella's opinion. Traveling alone is much easier for me. Big reason why I say this is because the cost of traveling alone is more effective than traveling with our family. If I was alone, I would not need a proper place like a hotel to sleep over. I will practically sleep anywhere I can sleep. Holidays for single people are most cost effective as we can decide both on our budget and how we can choose to spend it. It is our decision whether we want to just grab a snack to eat on to the go one day or treat ourselves to an indulgent meal for one. We can choose to have a day where we do fewer things to save money for later in our travels. Also, we can improve our language skills. Traveling solo makes us forced to talk with the local people. This naturally makes us improve our language skills. But I do admit that traveling alone also has this advantage, which is that we do not have someone to take care for us while traveling. We need to take care of ourselves, and that's the sad part of traveling alone.
Wow, this is a great sharing from you guys. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Bella and Rosie for joining us to travel around the globe. We hope this new experience of holiday travel with them was beneficial to you. As always, show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. And be sure to come back next week for another exciting new episode, new countries, and new experiences. Until then, this is Hawa Mikaela, and don't forget, life is short, so travel now.